What's up guys, my name is JodyCook5 and let's get straight into this video. Today we've got something different for you, a FIFA 16 career mode, a game that I don't think caught the eyes of many in fairness. I know it was one of the first kind of games that went onto the new gen sort of systems when the Xbox came out and so on, and the PS4 at the time. But it's an interesting one, that is for sure. This time round we're going to be doing Barcelona. I'm going to put a link down below to the previous one I did with Chelsea on FIFA 14. I couldn't seem to download FIFA 15 unfortunately, so we've skipped to FIFA 16 and this time we're at the helm of Barcelona. As we all know, they have an impeccable squad in this particular era. This is the era of Iniesta, MSN in fairness, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. They had a plethora of big names. As I mentioned, Iniesta, Rakitic, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, Dani Alves. I mean, they had some top players in this particular side. Yes, Barcelona are still a massive side to this particular day, but at the same time, I don't think it gets any better than some of the players that I've just mentioned there and then. But they've got a solid team, and it's really kind of an exciting one to use in fairness, because obviously going back to when I first played FIFA 16 and these sort of players when they were even on the Ultimate Team, these were the players to use. These are the ones that you really wanted in your side, and they are really good, that is for sure. Obviously we're going to make some signings. I looked at one left back, and that was Ricardo Rodriguez. Well, a left back he was, 22 years old at that point in time, 83 rated, currently at Wolfsburg. An easy deal to be done for 33 million. So that was our first signing. Our second signing was an English striker, Daniel Sturridge, 25 years old at this point in time, 83 rated. And if anyone used Sturridge in this particular game, we all knew how fast it was and how good he was. We put in a £38 million bid, and that will be accepted from Liverpool. And then we did go for a weird one, Moussa Dembele. Obviously, he was such a good player to use, and he was so all-rounded. For 12 million, I couldn't not, in fairness. He's a really good player in the game, and I knew that it would be quite handy as a kind of backup in the midfield also. And I needed a backup winger. Obviously, I've got Neymar and Messi, but I need someone on that left-hand side just when Neymar probably does get injured, and we've gone for Gervinho. How good was he? But that was the only signings that we did make. No real kind of need to be able to kind of sign a plethora of players in fairness, but into the first game that we did play, and this was against Atletico Bilbao in the Supercopa. This is a two-legged fixture, which will be placed obviously one at home and one away. Getting used to the game initially, obviously having such a good team, obviously it helps, but with the likes of PK also at the back, Mascherano, Matteo, obviously Mark Bartra, some top names in fairness, but I did struggle. I did really struggle. We had one moment of magic here, as you can see, Neymar skipping inside, getting quite lucky to retrieve the ball, and our first goal of this particular save fell to Luis Suarez. What a player he was as well. We took a 1-0 lead, and it's a lovely bit of kind of skip inside from Neymar. He does get lucky, but in fairness, he did kind of force the move initially, and it's a lovely curling effort into the top corner, and that was the only goal for that particular game. A fairly kind of tame affair against the two sides. Nothing really happened whatsoever. I felt like it was one of those games where we just had to get used to the actual kind of system and how it works. Because obviously, from where we are now, as much as we still moan about the different games, FC 26 is a completely different game to what we're seeing now on FIFA 16. We did have a simulation game against Bilbao also, which was really strange. And then we played them in the Supercopa once again. But a 0-0 draw meant that we managed to get the win as a 1-0 goal. Obviously, decided that in the first leg, and we were crowned champions of the Supercopa. So a very good way to start. And now some simulations on the way with a 3-1 victory against Malaga. Dembele, Messi and Gervinho there, two debutants getting themselves their first goals for the club, but unfortunately we run into an injury straight away, and what surprise, it was Neymar. Out for 8 weeks unfortunately, and it's just a bit of a toughie on that particular one, where when you lose them sort of players, I think it's very difficult to replace. As much as we've brought in Gervinho as a replacement, it's going to be very hard to not have Neymar in the side. And he's going to miss a fair few games being out for 8 weeks. And we've got a massive game that he's going to miss now. Atletico Madrid away from home. It would have been the Stadio Vincent Calderon, not the Wanda Metropolitan that they're currently playing at. And what a stadium this was at the same time, where they won the league under Simeone at one point, and it was just an unbelievable kind of fortress of a stadium. As much as they're a top side now, even these particular names that we're reeling off at this moment in time. Godin, obviously Griezmann still at the club to this very date at this moment in time, and he makes a very good impact straight away. Antoine Griezmann opening the scoring with only 2 minutes on the clock already, and at that sort of point we're already kind of on the back foot of this game. Felt very hard in terms of being able to get into it. They purchased Marco Verratti as well there, as you can see in the middle, as they look to offload to Koke. What a player he was there. As a lovely ball lips into the air, and then once again there, De Stegen brought into action. I do have the choice between Carlio Bravo and De Stegen, but at the same time I have favoured for De Stegen. I feel like like he'll be the better keeper overall to choose, and he's definitely showing that on display with a few top saves at that moment in time. It's a very tough game for us to play in fairness, not really kind of much created from the first half. It was more kind of one-way traffic, but an easy collect there from ter Stegen there as he offloads it to Lionel Messi, looking to see if he can kind of magic up some moments here as he falls from even Rakitic there, turns inside, does really well in fairness, finding Daniel Sturridge there in for Luis Suarez, and once again we kind of get lucky there. Moussa Dembele getting on the ball, and he finds his teammate Jovino in for Neymar, and he's definitely made an impact at that moment in time as he celebrates in front of the home support, making it 1-1 at this current time. I was quite happy that we managed to get ourselves back into this particular kind of moment in this game, but at the same time I felt like it was still going to be a hard one and a bit more of an uphill battle to still get ourselves a lead, with a Jovino trying to see if he can do anything, cuts inside, so good at that, he squares it, and that should be going in off the post in fairness, but it doesn't. It falls to Dani Alves, can't seem to do anything, trying to get a ball in there as you can see as Rakitic tries to do something in that moment. Dani Alves now once again denied, and that was all she wrote in that particular game. Points are shared in this massive tie against Atletico Madrid, and I felt like we started the season fairly well, still getting used to it, and I felt like that was the thing with these particular kind of rebuilds and so on, and what you do with these previous games. It's so hard to kind of get used to it once again, because when it first come out, you play it for a whole kind of year as it were, and you get used to the game and the mechanics and everything else, and then as the games go on and then you go back to something like this, it's a complete shock to the system, that's for sure. But we have our first Champions League tie, this tie against Shakhtar Donetsk. We have Shakhtar Donetsk, I do believe we also have Arsenal in our group, and what a start that was with a lovely finish. And we also have Bayer Leverkusen, I'm pretty sure, I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure we got Bayer Leverkusen. But a great start from Lionel Messi there as he opens up his Champions League account. But Shakhtar Donetsk really pushing at this moment in time, and as you can see, they make a great kind of moment of play, looking to see if they can create some danger, and they definitely do that. A lovely finish there into the bottom corner, nothing could be done from the keeper whatsoever, and we are now level at this point in time. And feeling like against Shakhtar Donetsk, we feel like we should be doing much better, but what a team they had as well. Tyson, Alexis Teixeira, I mean, this Shakhtar Donetsk side was an absolute elite side at this point in time. A real kind of a hard and tricky team to beat. This time we had Claudio Bravo in between the sticks, and what a save that was at that moment in time. I will probably alternate in regards to the cups and the keepers just to be able to see if we can give them enough game time and so on, but I was really worried at this point in time. But as you can see, we did step up in the end with Daniel Sturridge there getting himself on the score sheet to be able to make it 2-1 on the night at this moment in time as he does his famous celebration. Nobody forgets that in a hurry, that's for sure. Lovely kind of step-in move there as he kind of carries the ball, and he knows he can kind of cut inside, does really well in fairness, and he loops it into the top corner, not getting anywhere near that one in time. And then the game sort of changed, the momentum swayed into our way, and we looked really strong in fairness. Lionel Messi there playing a lovely ball over to Daniel Sturridge. He managed to latch onto it, but a clearance made from Shakhtar Donetsk as we look to collect it for a throw-in. Sturridge throws it into the middle of the park, and Lionel Messi there looking to do something at this moment in time. Even Rakitic fancies his chances, and that is a contender for goal of the season. Superb finish from Ivan Rakitic there as he gets himself on the score sheet. It's very hard to score them sort of goals, I feel like, with it being so different at the same time, but a lovely finish nevertheless. Lionel Messi getting the assist on that moment in time, and that's a superb finish from Ivan Rakitic, and that seals the deal in this particular game, making it Barcelona 3, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Happy that we was able to get over the line, but it was very concerning at one point, that is for sure. With a simulation game against Levante now, there's fixtures coming thick and fast as we do a simulation with a 1-0 victory. Daniel Sturridge getting himself on the score sheet, the one and only goal to be able to feature in this game, but it means a big 3 points. Simulation game against Celta Vigo now as we look to get a win away from home. Unfortunately, only a draw can be settled for as Dani Alves and Luis Suarez gets himself on to the score sheet there at that moment in time. Looking at the table, we've played 5 games this current season, 11 points, currently sitting third, 2 points off the top from Villarreal. I think that will all change in time, in fairness, and I feel like we'll be able to gain enough momentum and hopefully put enough results together to get ourselves on that top spot. Once again, back into the simulation games. This time we face Las Palmas at the new camp. They're looking for a result to be able to see if we can kind of contend, and it's definitely going to be the case on this time round. Alex Song looking to be injured, but goals from Rakitic, Sturridge and Jovino, meaning a big 3 points. Only a 2-week injury for Alex Song with a dislocated shoulder. Not the best of starts to the season for himself. But back to Champions League action, and we do face Bayer Leverkusen away from home. A tough side, in fairness, to face, and let's see what we can do against the German outfit outfit, looking to be able to see if we can get a result here and now, as Çalhanoğlu finds his teammate Kibling there with an opportunity to see what he can do. Obviously, Çalhanoğlu been around for absolute seasons, it seems to be. Bearing in mind this game was made 10 years ago now, so very interesting. And then Lars Bender there, the midfielder, the two brothers, Heung-min Song there playing for Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, he was previously bought from Tottenham Hotspur. But Çalhanoğlu gets the game started very, very well with a lovely finish there past the keeper. Nothing he could really do in that instance, in fairness. And the German outfit have started really, really well in that moment in time. Lovely kind of touch there from Son. He kind of lays it off for Çalhanoğlu and the ball into the bottom corner. And there is no stopping that one, that's for sure. And the German Giants claim a big, big victory. A very unfortunate game for ourselves. It was one of those games where we couldn't get hold of the ball, couldn't create anything, couldn't really do anything. And unfortunately, we did lose on this particular time, meaning it's 2 Champions League games, only 1 victory. I was getting slightly concerned at this point because you look at the table, we're currently sitting third. I know there's only 2 games to play that's been played so far, but there's another 4 games to go. So results are going to have to turn in our favour, and we're really going to have to start getting some results even if we want to qualify, let alone actually win the competition in itself. So slight concern, but at the same time we should be alright. In fairness, it's just a bit annoying in being in that position. But a game now in the league versus Sevilla, away from home, looking to be able to turn back to league action and see if we can kind of carry on the form that we have previously shown in the league. Starting off there, we didn't do well at all. It was a really, really poor game because, as you can see, this clip is from the 89th minute. Luis Suarez there on the ball as he looks to see if he can create something at this moment in time. Once again, a game of little chances, little moves, but this is a move that really could have created something at that moment in time, but just couldn't seem to do anything, and it was really, really poor. And now the form is really starting to show a loss, a draw, 0-0, no creativity whatsoever. And these games are really, really hard to play. They really are. I've really struggled with this particular FIFA. I feel like as we'll go up towards near FC26, I think like we'll do well, but at the same time, I think it's going to be difficult. A 1-1 draw then against Reco Valenciano, and that's not going to help our hopes in being able to get up the league, that's for sure. And what gets even better for ourselves, at least, is we have Neymar back from injury. So hopefully he will be the person that kind of stems a really good moment for ourselves and get ourselves back to winning ways. Hopefully that is. With a big game now as we welcome the Gooners to the new camp. Arsenal currently sitting the top of the Champions League table at this moment in time. So we're looking to be able to see if we can make a difference and now kind of push ourselves up the table, in fairness, because it's going to be a difficult moment for ourselves to do so, but we will give it our all. This Arsenal side, Theo Walcott, Santi Cazorla, some big names, Mesut Ozil. It's a completely different Arsenal side. Alexis Sanchez there, Olivier Giroud leading the line. Really, really cool to see, and that's what I like about these particular games. It's more the nostalgia of it more than anything, and realising where teams were at this particular stage of that year, and kind of looking back on football. I think if you're a big football fan, even if you don't have a team and you just like watching football and you can see all the different players and kind of go real through all the different teams, it's really interesting. Per Mertesacker there getting done by Dembele, and that is an awesome start to this game against Arsenal, in fairness. Moussa Dembele is definitely going to be the one there. We've spent absolutely nothing on him really, but he's been a big, big help to ourselves. Obviously we've got Rakitic, we've got Sergio Busquets, we've got Iniesta, but at the same time I feel like Dembele just offers that all-round effect of he can defend and he can score, and that definitely shows in that moment. Turn Per Mertesacker inside out, and the man in between the sticks on that particular day was Petr Cech when he made that move from Chelsea towards North London for Arsenal. Really, really big move that was for himself at the time there, as Ozil links up well with Aaron Ramsey there, looking to offload a ball to potentially Olivier Giroud there as he gets hounded for the ball, but he does really well to hold it up, and Santi Cazorla now, the Spaniard, finds Olivier Giroud, shot blocked initially, gets ball back in there, and how that's not gone in, I am not too sure, and I'm not too sure he thinks that's the case at the same time either. Really, really poor stuff there, but Lionel Messi now linking up well, he cuts inside, he does really well, fast bit of play from Barcelona. Luis Suarez is found, he looks to find the back of the net, but Petr Cech puts play to that there. A great save there as it looks to go out for a corner kick, and already with 14 minutes on the clock you can feel like this game has already had so many big moments in it, in fairness. But later on in towards the first half and the end of the first half, Andres Iniesta finds his teammate Lionel Messi. Them two link up really, really well as Lionel Messi looks to put on the afterburners to beat Nacho Monreal. He gets a foot to it initially there, but Messi getting inside and he does him really well. Looks to find his teammate, but he looks to do it all on his own at the same time. And Lionel Messi makes it Barcelona 2, Arsenal 0. Really, really good stuff there from Lionel, and that is why he is one of the world's best. These sort of players are really going to get us out of these moments where we're struggling, in fairness. But a big first half that was, and that meant for ourselves claiming a 2-0 victory over the Gooners. Really happy to be able to kind of get ourselves a big 3 points after obviously losing that game against Bayer Leverkusen. Simulation game, and we're now into late October as we faced Elbar. Neymar getting himself on the score sheet, as well as Daniel Sturridge there. Now looking at the table, we're currently second. We've played 10 and we're 11 on points with Real Madrid, with 2 points in front of Sevilla, and it's very tight at this moment in time. About 6 points separate sixth to first, so a lot to play for still. Obviously very early on with only 10 games played so far, but still currently unbeaten. But this is a game I really wanted to win after obviously previously losing against Bayer Leverkusen. I wanted to change that fact and get ourselves back to winning ways. Again though, it was a slow game, hitting the post there in the 74th minute there by Leverkusen. I thought at that moment in time, I thought they can only get themselves a goal and we're going to be losing this one once again. I felt like we left a lot of things late, and this is definitely one of the games that we did exactly that there. It's a stake in there, lobs it out, but it's a poor throw, really, really poor throw. Lars Bender finds Julia Brampton. It's a great opportunity, but the offside flag has been raised, and luckily for ourselves, because the ball did hit the back of the net, but it will not count. Mascherano finding Rafinha as he comes off the bench. Another good addition in the midfield, in fairness, and someone to bring off the bench. I felt like he was a really, really good player to have. But Daniel Sturridge now using his pace, using his skill, and he's done exactly that. The keeper might have got a hand to it, being Bernd Leno at the time, but he can't put stop to that particular moment, and Daniel Sturridge whacks out the iconic celebration, and he makes it 1-0 to Barcelona, and that's where the goal started flooding. A big mistake there for Lionel Messi to kind of make pay to it, and he done exactly that. Barcelona 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0. With such little moments in this game to now play, you can only believe that this game is done and dusted. But we felt like we weren't done there whatsoever. We wanted another as we chased down the ball there, making it hard for Bayer Leverkusen to really attack. As you can see, a lovely kind of ball out there as Daniel Sturridge there looks to be able to offload it to a teammate, and he finds Gervinho fresh off the bench there, looking for an opportunity to see if he can run into the area and maybe create a second for Daniel Sturridge there. He looks to do so, and he definitely has done so. It's Daniel Sturridge with the goal. It's Barcelona 3, Bayer Leverkusen 0. A big 3 points, a big 3 goals, and definitely different to the away fixture that we previously played against Bayer Leverkusen. Happy with that performance. As much as we left it late on, we still managed to get a big 3 goals. It's as simple as that. As long as we win, I do not mind whatsoever. I felt like in some games that we would win more convincingly, just down to the matter of fact of what the team we have to our kind of display. But at the same time, football is not like that. But now with 4 games played in the Champions League, we currently sit 3 points clear at the top of Arsenal. Another win would realistically kind of push ourselves into qualifications. And then realistically, you probably look at it and we should be able to claim top spot to have an easier leg of the draw. But this is the big game. This is why people are in Spain support either Real Madrid or Barcelona, purely for this fixture alone, the El Clasico. This is a huge fixture, a massive, massive tie, that's for sure. And this time we play the first game at the Santiago Bernabeu there. But once again, nothing really kind of started off, and it took to the 40th minute for anything to really hot up in this tie, in fairness. Luka Modric finding Fabio Contral there with a lovely interception there from Lionel Messi there, looking to see if we can offload it to a teammate. We fancied Daniel Sturridge instead of Luis Suarez, but this time Andres Iniesta gets played in. It's a great ball, and it's an even better save from Casilla. Falls to Neymar, and he can't get it on the rebound. It gets back into possession there, and he does really well, in fairness, to even pass it off to a teammate. He finds Neymar once again there, and Iniesta, he cuts inside. He does so well, but Sergio Ramos, the man, the myth, the legend for Madrid, not being able to kind of do anything in that moment, because he has put a stop to it, and a great block, that is for sure. But later on into the second half there, nothing really created, both sides, nothing really kind of between the two. It's anyone's game at this point in time. Luis Suarez off the bench for Daniel Sturridge as we look to see if that can make any sort of difference. But this Real Madrid side are really holding up well. James Rodriguez now on the ball as he's dispossessed from Moussa Dembele there as he looks to play it into Neymar. Neymar could be in, he cuts inside, he looks to make it hard for the defender, he shoots, but he can't score. Lovely save there from the keeper once again, really making the most of them particular moments and kind of really kind of helping his side, but now this could make it even worse. Gareth Bale, and how has that been saved? I'm not too sure who even got on the end of that, but Gareth Bale with a lovely ball in, and it just wasn't saved. The two giants come up against each other, but nothing could split the two teams at the same time. A ball draw, 0-0, nothing exciting whatsoever, don't get me wrong. I don't know why we're celebrating that, because it was really poor. We had a good few chances to be able to make the most of this big Real Madrid side that we're facing. Bale, Modric, Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, Fabio Contral. I mean, the names. I think in that particular era, when you looked at those particular sides, the names you could reel off was just ridiculous. Unfortunately, we only had a 1-1 draw against Getafe there, with Sergio Busquets coming on and then getting injured, which doesn't seem to be the best. But he'll only be out for 2 days with a bruised shoulder, so I don't think he'll even miss a game, in fairness. The one that is slightly annoying, though, is Jorginho has torn his groin on an international duty for Ivory Coast, and he'll be out for 6 weeks. Simulation game against Real Sociedad, and a 2-1 victory, claiming goals from Daniel Sturridge and Neymar, meaning that we grabbed all 3 points at home in the new camp. So glad that we was able to. We're doing well on the simulation, in fairness. I think we haven't actually lost one yet at this moment in time. Hopefully we can continue that with the game against Shakhtar Donetsk. Obviously we played the previous home game, and then we got a victory here with Munir coming on, not really kind of featuring that much, but he does play this particular game. I didn't want to play Neymar, and obviously Jorginho is injured, so he'll fill in at this moment in time. One injury though is for Jeremy Mateu, and he will be out for 2 weeks. The injuries were so bad. I remember playing these particular career modes, and I felt like the injuries are so much worse than what we're used to seeing in these particular games now. But a game against Valencia at the Stadio Mestalla there, a very kind of prestigious tie between the two Spanish teams, in fairness, as we look to see if we can get a big 3 points away from home. It's an iconic stadium, and obviously a stadium that's lived on for many years, that's for sure. As Valencia kick themselves off, we look to see if we can get a quick start and kind of get themselves on the ball. Fuguli there, the ex-West Ham man there on for Valencia, he did so well for the Spanish side, in fairness, and he looks to do exactly that, and he does really well, in fairness, skipping inside. There was no stopping him there, was there? This came on from the second half, bearing in mind when they got kicked off. Again, started really poorly in the first half, no real creations whatsoever, and then they come out second half, bang, goal, and it's really confusing to how that sort of happened at that moment in time, and the pace of the game, the momentum of the game really changed. As you can see, Stefan Fuguli went once again there. The Stegen does well to be able to put the player off, but he's scooped to the right now, as you can see, ball in potentially there with an opportunity. White shirts for the box, but he's done it all by himself, and it's hit the post. Busquets clears at that moment in time, but we are still trailing 1-0. Neymar on that left hand side trying to create something. Jordi Alba now getting it back to Neymar, ball in potentially there, as you can see, cuts inside, he does well. Suarez is free, so is Rakitic, and he gets the goal. It's 1-0 at this moment in time, with potentially 17 minutes plus additional to play, but it wasn't enough, and both sides do get a draw, unfortunately. We weren't in the game whatsoever, and I think that's the one thing that surprised me with the team that we did have at our disposal. We just couldn't seem to make the most of it. But we start off our Copa de España campaign now with a 3-1 victory, a convincing one. A lot of changes there, as you can see, with Rafinha, Munir getting themselves on the score sheet, as well as Douglas. But a good victory against fellow, I think it's a Liga 2 side. I don't even know, if they called it as Liga BVA 2. I'm not too sure what they called it at the time. But then into our league action with a simulation game against Deportivo, Roberto and also Sturridge getting themselves on the score sheet. But this is a big tie. This decides whether we go top or not. I'm pretty sure we should be able to mathematically still do so, even depending on goal difference. Just got to wait the table and see if they do show it at this moment in time when they do exactly that. So even if they win, we still stay top on goal difference. So realistically, we should be okay, but one person that isn't going to be okay is Oli Giroud. After sliding in the snowy Emirates that we can see on our screens right now, the referee comes hurtling over and he issues a red card. Very dramatic there as he pulls it out of his pocket. But yes, a red card for Olivier Giroud, and unfortunately his game is over with only a little 11 minutes being played. But as you can see by the challenge, PK running to the ball, does really well to defend it and shield it, and he's just gone 2-footed, bang, have some of that. And unfortunately, he Danny has been sent off as we play it short from the free kick there. Jordi Alba looks to be able to tee up an option as he finds his teammate Luis Suarez, and that is some ball to his teammate. He fancies it all for himself, and that is a superb finish into the top corner. He could have offloaded to Lionel Messi, but he fancies to do all the plaudits himself, and that is a superb finish, I have to say. And there was something about these finesse shots. I'm not too sure if they was something that really kind of first came about on the new gen sort of era, but at the same time, they just look so clean, and that was a thunderbolt of a finish into the back of the net. 18 minutes in this game, and Matej Debuchy there, the former Newcastle man, finding his teammate, and Mesut Ozil gets his side back into this game, and the German man gets himself a goal. Arsenal 1, Barcelona 1, and this game is really hotting up to be an absolute stonker, in fairness, at a snowy Emirates. The snow on this game as well, I don't know, there was something about it. It was like a real kind of feel to the game, in fairness, and it was a very good addition, that's for sure. As much as we've seen it over the years, I think as it went up in terms of the graphics, it just got better and better. But Luis Suarez denied from Petr Cech at that moment in time. But Danny Welbeck now on the ball for Arsenal, and it's a great finish. Danny Welbeck, hey, getting a good goal against Barcelona. He was alright for Arsenal, wasn't he? He wasn't too bad. I felt like he still had his best days at Brighton. I'm not too sure. But he still put in a shift when needed to at Arsenal. I felt like he scored some important goals, that's for sure. And this was a good goal here. He retrieves the ball there, as you can see. He does really well to turn his man, tee up an option. He had plenty of touches on the ball at the same time, and he gets a lovely finish off. Obviously, they're down to 10 men, so we feel like we should be making the most of this. But at the same time, Arsenal really feel like the momentum has swayed for them. But in terms of being down to 10 men, I think that's going to be the same for us, as Javier Mascherano is putting an absolute appalling challenge. Not as dramatic this time, but the red card has been issued once again, so both sides down to 10 men as Javier Mascherano lives up to his name. He loved the red card, didn't he, that boy? An absolute superb centre-back on his day, and sometimes an absolute just nightmare of a centre-back, but didn't feel like the challenge was that bad, but in fairness, it's probably fair. It is probably fair. But into the second half we go. A corner kick was taken, and we got ourselves back into the game as Sergio Busquets gets himself a headed finish there as he celebrates in front of the travelling support. At the end of the day, this game is not make or break. We are going to finish top of the Champions League no matter what happens, but at the same time, we still would like to get a win. Lovely lofted ball into the area, I must add, and Sergio Busquets does really well from that sort of end. Petr Cech's come all the way out, and he just hasn't got to it, leaving an open goal. And that was all she wrote in this tie. Both points are shared, and Barcelona and Arsenal go through to the Champions League qualifications, being the round of 16. I'm happy. I'm pretty happy. We didn't really start the campaign that well, so at the same time, to finish top and not start the best with losing a game and obviously drawing this one. There you go, Mikel Arteta there, now the manager of Arsenal, going across the pitch. But yeah, I'll take that. I will take that. And as you can see, confirmation of that being that Arsenal and Barcelona are at the top of the Champions League stages. 6 games played, 4-1, 1 draw and 1 loss, meaning we sit nice and pretty waiting for our next opponents in the Champions League. I'll be looking forward to see who we do get. Looking at the table as well, this is the La Liga table. We've got somewhat of a gap between ourselves and Sevilla. Real Madrid currently sitting in 4th place, which is something you wouldn't normally see. 4 points adrift of top spot, but Sevilla, they're looking to be the ones that are challenging. We've played 15, we've won 8, we've drawn 7, we've still lost none, and so have Sevilla and Real Madrid, which is interesting to see. Currently sitting on 31 points. Daniel Sturridge contending for most goals in a season there, 7 goals compared to Alvaro Negredo's 10 goals for Valencia, which is really cool to see there. And Negredo was a top striker for Valencia at that point in time. No one really contending apart from Lionel Messi with 3 goals there in the Champions League or so. So I would like to see our players a bit more up there in terms of the contentions for these particular accolades, that is for sure. But we do have a player that returns from injury, and that is Javinho, and that will be very much welcome, that is for sure, to be able to relieve the stress off of Neymar, and when we can alternate when we do have a big amount of games in sort of a short period of time, shall we say. But a simulation game against a Sporting Gijon, a 1-0 victory with Neymar getting himself on the score sheet there, as you can see. Not seem to be the most exciting game with the goal score within 10 minutes, but nothing else happening. With a simulation game against now Real Betis, a 3-0 victory, and it's Luis Suarez that claims the match ball, as he did get a hat-trick in this particular game, claiming all the plaudits, claiming all the goals, and claiming 3 points. points at the Nou Camp. Big win that is, and a really kind of safe win at the same time. But we face Espanyol away from home. I wasn't actually aware of this, but this is a derby, which is really cool to see. Somewhat of a rivalry between the two sides as we look to see if we can get a big 3 points and kind of get the bragging rights over our rivals Espanyol. As even Rakitic now looks to fire forward, finding his team out on the left hand side is Neymar there, and he does well, looks to get a ball offloaded but then kind of latches it onto himself, and this might create a goal for Neymar. He cuts inside, and this is what Neymar does, and what a fabulous finish. Into the back of the net it goes. It's Espanyol 0, Barcelona 1, and they couldn't get any better at that moment in time, but unfortunately we nearly got put down a peg or two as a goal nearly scored from Espanyol, but a poor miss, that is for sure. As Lionel Messi now looks to see if he can create a bit of magic in this second half. Dani Alves now with an opportunity to find his teammates once again there. Lovely weighted ball to Ivan Rakitic. Ball come out to Neymar, and he gets his second of the game. Unlucky for Rakitic to not get that particular goal, so after a well taken shot at that moment in time, but Neymar will take them all day. Corner taken out there, and as you can see, a bit of poor defending, and Daniel Sturridge doesn't care whatsoever. He will use his pace, he will use his skill to get past the defence, and they cannot catch up with him, sliding in everywhere. He's one-on-one with the keeper, he could square it, but he takes it all for himself. 88 minutes played, 3 goals scored, 3 points will be claimed, and a very good victory in the derby versus Espanyol. Happy with that one, and these were one of the ones that kind of was more convincing in terms of the performance and the goals that we scored that we had on the hand at that moment in time. But again, in the Copa de España now, this is the round of 16, looking to see if we can get ourselves through to the quarter-finals against Real Betis. This is a two-legged fixture, bearing in mind, so let's see what we can do in this cup tie. Playing it short of Real Betis, a ball whipped into the air. It's a great ball, it's also a great goal. Bruno latching onto it with 12 minutes only played in this tie. Real Betis have really made a statement, in fairness, and they're really pushing on for a second, but Sergio Busquets with an interception that moment in time, finding a team out on that left. Neymar cuts inside. Could he produce a bit of magic at this moment in time as a gap is created? He's one-on-one, but he's put it straight at the keeper. Not the ideal game that we really hoped for in this tie, in fairness, and we were really struggling. Daniel Sturridge there doing well to get a challenge in. Running back, it's Busquets, it's Lionel Messi, and this time it's into the back of the net, and Lionel Messi has fired his side back level with 20 minutes left to play. You can feel like we've got ourselves back into this tie. Betis kick themselves off once again for another time in this fixture as Ceballos on that left hand side tries to get a ball, and it's a lofted ball. It's Castro. 2 goals, 2 headers. Really poor defending, and we trailing once again. I really felt like once we scored that first goal, we kind of push on from there, but not to be. But we have got a free kick in a very dangerous area. This was the first free kick I actually had taken at this point in time, and it nearly was in. Hits the post at that moment. Neymar couldn't seem to convert that one, unfortunately, as the ball is lofted out to the left hand side as Dani Alves does really well to put the pressure on him, in fairness, and looking to go out for a throw in, but it doesn't in the end, and that was the end of that one. But we go straight in to the second leg of this particular tie. Obviously we are trailing 2 goals to 1, and we really need to get ourselves back on the pedestal and get ourselves a few goals there. Dembele doing really well, in fairness, with the 6 minutes on the clock. Neymar fancies a run all for himself, and he's in on goal. How has he not scoring these? He gets himself into the best of positions but just cannot convert, and it's really frustrating. Ter Stegen brought into action at that moment in time, and it's a superb save, and that's us out. It was so poor from us at that first moment where we started so well. I thought we might be able to do anything, but nothing was done, nothing was created, and we are out. It was 0-0 on the day, but unfortunately due to the first tie we are out of the Copa de España. So not ideal, but all focus now on La Liga BBVA as well as obviously the Champions League. A few simulation games there, a 2-1 victory originally there, and then obviously a 3-0 victory against Granada. Dembele, Messi and Suarez all getting on themselves on the score sheet, as well as an away game against Malaga there as we look to be able to see if we can get a victory, but a 1-1 draw. Lionel Messi does get himself on the score sheet, but it wasn't enough as a goal was conceded in the 83rd minute. This is the table at this moment in time, focusing on the top half there. We have got a lovely gap, a 4-point gap at this moment in time. Real Madrid are nowhere to be seen with 10 points clear. It's Sevilla the ones that are pushing us. They haven't got a game in hand compared to Real Madrid, and they have got to play 2, so they could actually kind of get themselves up to 43 points and be themselves 4 points adrift of ourselves if they are to win those games in hand. But another big game on the horizon, and this time we face Atletico Madrid at the Nou Camp this time. Obviously the previous time was 1-1. This time it could be something different. I'm not too sure. Let's see what can happen. Rafinha brought down to the ground at that moment in time. Yellow card issued to the man in red and white, as we look to be able to see if we can kind of do something. And look at that, the wall being pulled forward, yellow card issued from the referee. It's a fair kind of yardage out, 36 yards at this moment in time, but let's see what we could do. Messi with a decent bit of power on it. Oh, hits the post. If that went in, that would have definitely been goal of the season. I really liked free kicks on this game. I really, really did. There was no complications. There's no wind speed. It was just you and the ball. Simple as. Ball whipped into the area, though. And who else but Luis Suarez to latch onto that header. And we have got ourselves a goal. And what a headed goal that was there as he celebrates in front of the home support. But it was a decent half for us, in fairness. Enough chances created. And you can feel like we were worthy of being able to be taking the lead at this moment in time, in fairness. Neymar now on the ball as he finds Iniesta. Now Moussa Dembele. And that's a lovely ball that it looked to be, but intercepted at that moment in time as Atletico get themselves back into an attacking play. And it's Olivier Torres that gets himself in a great position. He finds Jackson Martinez, and how that's gone in, I am not too sure. Really, really poor. It's kind of just bounced in and off the goalkeeper. It's really poor from the keeper, in fairness. He should be doing better, at least kind of parry it out to create more of an opportunity. But it was Olivier Torres that really created that move. Martinez does well to be able to hit it first time, and I think it's the power that does the keeper more than anything. But a poor kind of second half from ourselves. Nothing really created, and it got from bad to worse. Moussa Dembele already on a yellow card. No need to make the foul whatsoever, but unfortunately 2 yellows make a red, and he is sent off. Only 2 minutes left on the clock as well, so he could have got out of that game and not got sent off. But not to be, and a 1-game ban served against Levante. But it didn't matter too much. Neymar getting 2 and Luis Suarez getting himself on the score sheet in that simulation game as we get a 3-2 victory. Seems to be the Stars are whapping out the goals in a simulation. There's a Celta Vigo simulation now with Lionel Messi and Neymar getting themselves on the score sheet. But Luis Suarez suffered an injury once again there in the injury-prone sort of scenario, as a dislocated shoulder means he will be out for 2 weeks. Game against Las Palmas now, and this was the only moment in this game. 90th minute, Gervinho finds Roberto on the edge of the area. He does really well, in fairness, to find Rafinha over to Rakitic. Finds Moussa Dembele. He takes a touch, and what a goal that is. But once again, one of those games, slow, no chances, both sides going back and forth, back and forth. It was really hard to kind of get some sort of tempo sort of going at this moment in time. If you think FIFA is bad now, play these sort of games, because boy are they tough. They are really, really tough. But a good goal, in fairness. Rakitic finding his man, and Moussa Dembele had enough time to take a touch. It's a hard angle, but he does it near post at the same time. You think he'd go across goal, but he does superb in that moment in time. And he claims all 3 points away from home against UD Las Palmas. But now into the round of 16 of the Champions League, and our first opponents are Portuguese side Benfica, as we look to be able to do something at that moment in time. Gerard Piqué there brought into the action attacking wise, and he finds Lionel Messi 17 minutes into the game. Messi is in here, a potential square. He could actually do something, not to be. Julio Cesar in between the sticks for Benfica as he clears it out to Jonas. This was a good Benfica side. Gaitan, Eliashu, some top names. Luzio. I mean, there are some really, really good names in this team. But Lionel Messi, they're looking to see if he can do anything at this moment in time. Persisting with the play, retrieving the ball. He finds on the edge of the area. Dani Alves now to over Sergio Busquets. Back to Alves. Ball in potentially squares it. Daniel Sturridge there at the helm into the top corner, and a 1-0 lead had been taken. A strong start in the first half, but Adel Taarabt comes off the bench for Benfica. What a name out of the hat that is, as the ball is whipped into the area, but Ter Stegen collects comfortably. But yeah, a fairly kind of good early on first half, but then in the second half we just fell to absolute bits, and a superb finish from Jonas. 73 minutes on the clock, and that's a great response, you could only feel. With a free kick taken late on in the 82nd minute, Messi whips a dangerous ball in fairness, and we did get onto it, but nothing to be able to kind of done at that moment in time, unfortunately, there as the ball is out of the area now. Mateo finds Dembele, looking for an opportunity, finds Dani Alves, and what a goal! 6 minutes left on the clock. We've left it late, but what a goal that is. And hopefully now, with the away goals and so on, that makes the second leg that little bit easier. Benfica 1, Barcelona 2, and a simulation game before we play that second leg against Benfica, and this against Sevilla, and a 3-1 victory. Obviously, they're sitting second at this moment in time, but nothing to put to pay to MSS at that point in time. Messi, Suarez, and Sturridge getting themselves on the score sheet. A simulation game against Valencia Cano with 2-0 victory over them, with good goals in the end. With a simulation game against Elbar, also looking to see if we can get our third win, and we've done exactly that there. Neymar and Maffeo getting themselves on the score sheet. We played 28 at this point in time. We've won 19. We drew 9. Currently sitting on 66 points. Obviously, Real Madrid have yet to have that game in hand played, but even if they were to win that game, you can only feel like we'll be in a very, very good position to put ourselves on further. Looking at the goals at this moment in time, Neymar's crept up. As you can see, he's currently on 9 goals, so not too bad. But I just want someone to claim that golden boot. It'd be really nice for somebody to claim that golden boot, in fairness, but hopefully it will come. A 2-1 victory against Getafe there, as Mateo gets a red card as well as the scores, with Daniel Sturridge getting himself on the score sheet. But those league games out the way, we put our attentions to the second leg of this tie against Benfica, looking to see if we can kind of get an early goal, just put pay to it and really kind of get ourselves comfortable. And Messi does exactly that, finding Luis Suarez, a ball tapped into the back of the net, and 8 minutes into the tie, we already find ourselves having a 1-0 lead. Benfica will feel like they've got a massive uphill battle with 2 goals needing to be scored to get themselves back into this game. If we score another one, you can only feel like they're kind of dead in the water. Suarez hill chopping it, he does a lovely shot, it's parried, it falls to Lionel Messi, and in 25 minutes we've already taken a 2-0 lead, and it should have been 3 at this moment in time. Lionel Messi denied there. I felt like he got a touch, he actually didn't, but a very, very good opportunity nearly taken from Lionel Messi as Moussa Dembele fancies his chances there from the free kick, and it's a great free kick, this time hitting the roof of the net. Felt like we had total control over this game, no real pressure from Benfica, in fairness. Few moments just like this one there as it hit the post, and you can feel like they get themselves back into the tie, but the rebound was really poor. But that was all she wrote in that tie. A 2-0 victory, meaning a 4-1 victory on aggregate, and we are through to the last 8 of the Champions League. Player injured, and this time Luis Suarez once again. 3 injuries already in this save. He is out for 12 days. Not too bad. This one really affects us. Moussa Dembele out for 8 weeks. Really unfortunate, because he has been absolutely superb in that midfield. Somebody that you would never expect to do that sort of job, but he's been absolutely great in it. But this is a massive tie. We face Real Madrid. We welcome them to the new camp in the El Clasico once again, but this game was fiery. This game had everything. Ivan Rakitic there, dispossessed by Karim Benzema, looking to find an option. James Rodriguez, Cristiano Ronaldo. What a team and what a player. Unfortunately, he skips past the defence and he puts it into the back of the net, meaning they take an early 1-0 lead. Corner whipped in at this moment of time, and Andres Iniesta nearly created a moment where PK could get off the rebound, but just not to be done at that moment, and it was really, really unfortunate. But into the second half we go. The pressure was still mounting for ourselves, the momentum was building. Andres Iniesta with a ball in, potentially he does exactly that. He finds Neymar and he's tapped it into the back of the net, and Barcelona have got their goal, and we have levelled proceedings, with Real Madrid feeling they are really kind of wasting away in this second half. They've lost the ball in a dangerous area, meaning Andres Iniesta could find his teammate Daniel Sturridge. He turns, he finds Messi, and it is a goal. 2-1 at this moment in time. Ronaldo and Messi getting themselves on the score sheet. The two greats, shall we say. But it's Messi taking all the plaudits, because that goal meant a big victory against their bitter rivals, Real Madrid. Ronaldo opened up the scoring early, but it was Messi and Neymar that put pay to that with 2 quick goals, meaning that we grabbed victory in the El Clasico. Last day of the Champions League now, and this is a very, very big tie against Zenit, and they knocked out Chelsea in this particular round, in the last round, sorry. So I feel like they're going to be a big game in this particular moment. Hopefully we can make a big difference. Ivan Rakitic there denied at that moment in time. Very top save, but Zenit, they had a good side. They had Garay, they had Hulk, Garcia, also a really good player. Danny, what a player he was in Ultimate Team. Superb, and as you can see, he's displayed his skills on that moment in time, getting past a few men. Alex Witsel there with a ball into the area, and what a ball that is. And the Zuba gets onto this goal. I feel like these teams, like even when they were in like little leagues, they had such good teams, and that particular era of them Champions Leagues were just really, really unheard of for what you see now. Superb stuff, and they have taken a 1-0 lead at the new camp, and they look superb in it. Really well organised, good defensively, going forward, they caused a threat. Looking for the long throw there, Ivan Rakitic gets onto header but doesn't find anyone. Busquets gets onto the loose ball as he looks to find Lionel Messi but can't seem to do so at that moment in time. Garay then makes a loose ball, he finds Rakitic, it's Suarez, and we're back into the game. That is good stuff. We're back into the game at least, but I feel like it's been a very much of an uphill battle to do so. But Lionel Messi could make the difference here. He could make a big difference, and we can't get to the final ball. Hulk getting on his defensive duties as he clears his lines. Into the second half, we now go, and Zenit adding the pressure early on in the second half, and it's Hulk that steps up for the header, and it hits the post. Really, really big miss that is for sure. And as you can see, head in hands for the moment as a Saudi gets dispossessed from Lionel Messi there as we look to play it round the back, and it's a poor pass. Dani Alves can't latch onto it. It's Dani for Zenit though, and what a goal. What a goal that is. And a 2-1 victory was claimed at the Nou Camp, meaning a massive uphill battle, because in this era of the Champions League, away goals were massive. So even if we get... I think even if we level it, because they've scored 2 away goals, we've still got to score 2 goals. So we need to be able to be up on the aggregate, and this is a massive time. We need to get a goal early on, but that wasn't the case. Early on was really, really hard. Zenit proving to be the better side in fairness, but Iniesta now on the edge of the area. Could he make the difference? It's Lionel Messi! What a goal! That is who you need in these big moments. Lionel Messi, what a goal that was. And now the pressure is adding as Suarez wins the ball in a dangerous area. It's Messi, it's Iniesta, it's back to Suarez. It's Luis Suarez. 2 goals in quick succession means we have taken the lead. Even though that we were 1-0 up, that didn't mean nothing due to the away goals. They were a massive factor in the Champions League, and that made a big, big difference going into the second half. 2-0 up and 3-2 on aggregate. But ball whipped across there. It's Jordi Alba to make the most of this tie. Can't seem to make the end of it there as Xavi Garcia now stems an attack. Zenit been out of this game in fairness, no real kind of opportunities created, and now they could make matters even worse. Luis Suarez in on goal, they can't struggle him off. It's Luis Suarez, 3-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate, and Barcelona are through to the last 4 of the Champions League. Zenit really pushed us, and I can see why they knocked out Chelsea as well. What a team they are. What a big game that was, and even though the scoreline doesn't suggest it, that was a really, really hard game, especially scoring that early, that late on. Bad news, unfortunately, as Neymar suffered an injury in that particular time, meaning he will be out for 2 weeks, which is really unfortunate. Once again, it seems to be like Neymar Suarez. It seemed to get always injured. Simulation game against Deportivo now, and a 3-1 victory, but PK now off the field as Iniesta and Suarez managed to got the goals in that moment in time. And PK will be out for some number of time. I'm pretty sure he will now be out for the rest of the season. Game against Sporting Gijón at the Nou Camp there as we look to start the game nice and quickly. Rakitic with a lovely ball into the air, and it's Marc Bartra. Hasn't started many games, but he's got on the score sheet this particular time, claiming a 1-0 lead as he points to the name at the back of his shirt. He means business, and there's a superb goal from Bartra, and we nearly made it 2 from corners there as the ball is punched out from the man in between the sticks there. Douglas laps onto it, and it's a very weakened side to what we normally play. As Marco Bartra finds Rafinha, it's a shot on goal, and it's a shot on goal that's turned into a goal because it's 2-0 on the score sheet, and Rafinha getting a lovely goal outside of the area there as he celebrates with his teammate Gervinho. But we had total control over the game. There was no real pressure from the opposing side, in fairness. Gervinho now kind of getting silly with it with the skills, and he's done so well in that moment of time. A ball into the area has been 3 goals. He fancied it all for himself, and it nearly goes in as the ball hits the roof of the net. But a 2-0 victory will be well taken, that's for sure, and we are really cruising in our proceedings for that league title. But this is probably the biggest game that we're going to face in this stage of the season. It's Bayern Munich at the Nou Camp, a prestigious side. I'm Robin, Frank Ribery, Martinez. I mean, the names could just go on. Manuel Neuer still in goal at this moment in time, but Neymar making a great opportunity for Rafinha, and how he's not scored, I'm not too sure, but Luis Suarez with the rebound. Jerome Boateng couldn't do anything in that moment in time. It was a poor game. As you can see, shakes hands with Xabi Alonso at that moment in time, but it was a poor game. Nothing really creative from our sort of perspective. It was just the fact that we got lucky with that rebound goal, but we'll take it. It's a victory nevertheless, but we've still got it all to do at the Allianz Arena, that is for sure. Simulation game against Real Betis now, as we literally get into the end of this particular season, and a victory would be well and truly welcomed, and it's exactly that. Messi, Sturridge and Roberto getting themselves all on the score sheet, meaning a 3-0 victory. But this was a big one, and unfortunately Douglas is out for 3 months, putting all pressure on Dani Alves, so we've got no one to replace on that side. I think Vidal might have to come in, as much as we haven't really played him that much, but this is the game to get ourselves through to the final of the Champions League, and it's going to be a massive tie against a big giant in Bayern Munich. But there, as you can see, Neymar doing Iron Robin in that moment in time. Busquets there skipping over the man in red there. Vidal tries to get onto it. Ribery tries to get onto it, but it's only Lionel Messi getting himself on the score sheet. It took to the 62nd minute to do so, but Lionel Messi getting a big goal. These sort of ties were strange because obviously it's two big sides coming together, and that's why I felt like it was really hard. But Bayern Munich didn't create anything really. Thiago on the ball at that moment in time, the former Barcelona man, tries to get something going in that moment. He finds his teammate Thomas Müller, and that is a superb save from ter Stegen. First time he got really brought into action, in fairness, as Robin tries to get a ball into the area. Can't seem to do so as he stops in his tracks and ter Stegen collects. And it was a solid game. Both games 1-0. Am I happy? Yes, we won. At the same time, was the performance good enough? Probably not. But again, I felt like when it was like two top sides going against each other, it was just so hard to score, and I felt like that was on both sides. But this is the table at this moment in time. We're pretty much confirmed champions. Played 34, won 24, drawn 10, still unbeaten with 82 points on the table at this moment in time, gaining an 8-point lead over rival Sevilla. As you can see, Real Madrid having a poor season, only on 67 points at this stage of the season, is very poor from their estimations, that is for sure. But we're in a stellar position, and I feel like it's only going to get better for ourselves in the final few games, and we're just going to get the job done and get ourselves the victories that we need. But we welcome Espanyol to the Nou Camp. A game, once again, it's a derby, it's an interesting game, and let's see what we can do against our rivals. Obviously, when we previously played against them, it was a lovely, resounding 3-0 victory, but let's see if we can kind of make the difference here. But as you can see, in this moment in time, Mascherano went in for a tackle and he copped an injury, so he had to go off the field. So we've now got Piqué out, Mascherano out, which only leaves us with Marco Bartra, Mateu, and I think to Stack and Vermaelen. So our defensive worries are going to get even worse. But the worry in this game is we took a 1-0. They took a 1-0 lead, Espanyol, at this moment in time. Really poor. Couldn't get going whatsoever. I'm not too sure why. We had to make a lot of changes. Obviously, Vidal on that right-hand side because Dani Alves was too tired. But he made a great interception at that moment in time, finding Sturridge, finding Busquets, over to Jovino, and he puts it into the bottom corner. But we played Arda 2 round to be able to arrest Messi. We played so many different players that we haven't actually played in this particular save, in fairness. But Espanyol were far the better side, but just couldn't really seem to get anything going in the second half, that's for sure. Late into the first half, they nearly had that one, but that game ended 1-1. And in the end, but yes, that's the end of Mascherano's season, out for 3 months, and obviously where we're at the tail end of the season now, that is the end of this moment in time. So unfortunately, our 2 best defenders are currently out for the season, so not too sure how we're going to favour at that moment in time, but we will make do, that's for sure. Simulation game against Villarreal and a 1-1 draw. Nothing special by any means whatsoever, but at the end of the day, we don't need to get a victory. I don't believe that we're in a very good position to where we need to be, that's for sure. Next time we face Valencia at home. Obviously a tie that we didn't really seem to do so well away from home. So let's see if we can make a difference in this game. A different defence though, that is for sure. And the changes that we have made, I feel like it's I don't want to get any more injuries for the Champions League, but at the same time I still want to play the best side that I possibly can do. So Messi making a very good run on that right hand side, finding Luis Suarez. He skips inside once again. It's a looped ball to Messi, and that is a superb bit of play there. How he got that on the rebound, I'm not too sure. I thought he messed it up in that moment in time, but he got himself a goal. But these sort of attackers was such a joy to use, and as I mentioned before at the start of this particular kind of episode or kind of video, it's such nostalgia. You do not get strikers like these and attacks like these when Lionel Messi is ripping it up. There you go, a 2-0 lead claimed as he looks to go for his hat-trick. But as much as there's prestigious sides out there and there's some top sides out there, when you look at front threes and so on, I just don't think they live up to what we previously had years ago. Very, very kind of nice to kind of grow up and happy that we got to see them particular generations of football, and I feel like we should be kind of very grateful for them moments, that's for sure, because we're not going to get anywhere near what we had on display X amount of years ago, say 10, 15 years ago. They were the true heights of football, I believe, especially with no VAR, no nonsense in the game. But Valencia got themselves one back there with Dries Mertens getting himself on the score sheet. What a player he was, the Belgian maestro. And I thought we nearly threw it away, in fairness, there after a poor throw in there. Threw it straight to Mertens. He got past his man, but Jordi Alba did well in that moment as he scooped it over to Dembele. Looked to be able to stem one last attack potentially, and that is probably one of the best weighted balls you will ever see in this game. And Daniel Sturridge makes the most of it, making a 3-1 victory, and that is a superb goal from Daniel Sturridge there as he whaps out the iconic celebration. But Barcelona 3, Valencia 1, and that is an astounding win as it nearly went south. But this is the last game of the league, I do believe, and this time we are facing Granada away from home. It was one of those games, didn't have anything to play for. We knew we won the league. Just it was kind of damage limitations for the players that we did have on the pitch at that moment in time, making sure that we didn't have anyone injured, and we knew that we was going to win the league. And that was, I think it was just a moment of playing this game to be able to see these celebrations and see the trophy be lifted. Granada, they didn't have a good season whatsoever. They finished bottom of the Liga, which is very surprising to see, in fairness. But it was ourselves that claimed victory, and it was Messi with that captain's armband on for this particular tie as he looks to lift the trophy in front of his supporters. And he's done exactly that. Barcelona crowned champions of the Liga, and as much as obviously they've had such big glory days in their seasons and so on, I felt like we managed to continue that on with a big League Cup that kind of in that moment. Goalkeeper of the tournament was announced as ter Stegen, as he claimed the most clean sheets, which was really nice to see. Felt like he was impeccable in goal. Didn't really feel like there was many problems for himself at all, and he had some very good moments, hence why I played him in front of Claudio Bravo. As you can see, Granada right at the bottom there with the 19th, so yeah, not the best of seasons themselves. Las Palmas and Deportivo all getting relegated into the second La Liga BBVA. Looking at ourselves, we absolutely romped it, more than 10 points ahead of Sevilla. We finished with 38 played, 25 won, 13 drew, and 0 losses, meaning an invincible season also carried out. But our last game, this one, the sort of make or break sort of game with PSG in the Champions League final, played at Atletico Madrid's stadium. But this PSG side, Cavani, Lavezzi, David Luiz, Ibrahimovic placing his former side, Di Maria, the names go on. But we look to start the game nice and strong after we win the ball in the dangerous area, and Neymar is denied from Kevin Trapp at that moment in time. But Lassie Matuidi in the middle of the park looking to create an options. He finds Di Maria to Javier Pastore. Lavezzi turns his man, and it's a goal, and we are trailing in the Champions League final. Superb finish, I have to say, but we haven't started this game the best as much as we've had a chance. It could have got even worse for ourselves as Matuidi is denied and an advantage had been played. I initially thought it was a penalty kick, but it is a free kick on the edge of the area. Teeing it up is Lavezzi there as he looks to offload it short, and he does exactly that. He finds Pastore, hits the post, and Cavani's missed a sitter. How's he missed that then? An empty net, but not to be converted at that moment in time as we play it short from the goal kick. The weakened defence is really showing, and Maffei was just absolutely putting in an absolute stinker of a performance. But luckily for ourselves, Sergio Busquets brought into action that moment in time as we offload it to Moussa Dembele, finding his teammate Lionel Messi there as he looks to be able to run down the right-hand side and create an opportunity for his teammates potentially. Players sliding in left, right to the centre, but Gazzara can't get to it. Luis can't get to him. It's Lionel Messi! He's got a bit of luck, but he has got his goal, and we are now back into this game as we now level. Barcelona 1, PSG 1, and this has the recipes for a big game, that's for sure. Second half now commencing. Jordi Alba loses the ball really high up the pitch, and he does so well though there ter Stegen to be able to collect the ball, offload it to Dembele, and create some sort of an attack for ourselves. Andres Iniesta there looking to find his teammate Luis Suarez, but he favours Neymar on that left hand side. Advantage is being played. Luis Suarez makes the run. He finds Suarez. It's back to Neymar, linking up well. Could he do something? It's Iniesta. We take the lead for the first time in this tie. It's Barcelona 2, Paris Saint-Germain 1. This game has really been tough, and as you can see, it's now kind of ending to the night where we kind of want that whistle to be blown. Lucas on the ball now. They've got everyone forward, and as you can see, Thiago Silva's gone up front. He's played a lovely ball to Lavezzi. It's 90 minutes on the clock. I thought we had cleared it, but we hadn't. Silva won it. It's Ibrahimovic. And we are now into extra time. Barcelona 2, PSG 2. What a game this has been. It's had all the goals, and as I mentioned before, when I felt like the big sides faced against each other, there was no goals. So this game's definitely kind of shaped up to be an absolute masterpiece, that's for sure. But it's not done yet. Into the first half of extra time, Lionel Messi looks to cut inside. He looks to find a teammate. He's found Moussa Dembele. He's on his last legs, in fairness, but he tees up a ball for Rafinha. He takes the shot, and it's just gone wide. How that's not gone in, I am not too sure. But yes, a very good opportunity not taken that moment in time. Is now into the second half of extra time. Could PSG get themselves a goal? Could we do so? Mateo, he's had such a poor game in this half. Could he do something this moment? It's Daniel Sturridge. He's one-on-one with the keeper. Oh, has he not scored? It's so unfortunate. But the dreaded penalty kicks have been commenced now. Neymar with the first one. Down the middle he goes as the keeper goes the wrong way. Ibrahimovic now. He comes on as a substitute. He got himself a goal. Can he convert from here? Yes, he can. Keeper rooted there. 1-1 on the penalty kicks there as Ivan Rakitic steps over the penalty kicks. Oh, it's not good on that one. And it's gone over his head. He's got lucky with that one. And these penalties are so hard. I'm on that little bar where you've got to get it Kareem timed to get yourselves a goal. But Pastore there into the top corner. Keeper goes the right way. But it's 2-2 on the penalty shootout. It's Daniel Sturridge now. We've got it green timed. But he hasn't been able to convert there. Keeper stays where he needs to be. And he makes a big save. David Luiz now. And De Stegen saves now. Wow, this is some penalty shootout. It's getting tense. But Lionel Messi now stepping up for Barcelona's fourth penalty. And this time we have converted. We made it 3-2. But that could change straight away there. As Lucas looks to get himself a penalty kick goal. As he steps up. He stutters and he does really well, in fairness. It sends the keeper the wrong way, and it is really getting a bit nervy now. It's getting to them points where it could be sudden death. But Dani Alves there converts as he sends the keeper the wrong way. And as I mentioned, it's hotting up. Thiago Silva, he got an assist for the goal to send him into extra time. Could he get themselves another one here? And he saved it. De Stegen has saved it, and Barcelona are the champions. Oh, that is a tense one, that is for sure. But we have managed to claim the Champions League. We've got 2 titles in this particular video. It's the La Liga and also the Champions League, down to a very tense penalty shootout. But the plaudits going to Mark ter Stegen. Really good penalty. I thought when he stuttered he might have gone completely the opposite way, but he's done so well at that moment. A firm hand to it, ushering it away from his goal and making sure that we win 4-3 on penalties. It was 2-2 that sent us to penalties. What a game that was. There was goals flying in left, right and centre. Both sides taking the lead at one point in time in that tie. But it's ourselves that take all the plaudits. It's been a hard campaign. We faced some top sides. We've come back from previous deficits, but it's ourselves that lifts that trophy, and it's Lionel Messi that's triumphant once again. Hats off to the team, in fairness. We put in such good displays when needed to, and we got the results when it was needed. We faced Bayern Munich, we faced Zenit, we faced Benfica, obviously in the actual group stage. We had Arsenal, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Bayer Leverkusen. So not an easy run by any stretch of any imagination, but a very good end to do this and kind of get that victory. This side was superb. We had so many injuries. Mascherano, Piqué falling out in the end. Suarez kept getting injured. Neymar kept getting injured. Moussa Dembele got a big injury at one point in time. He was superb though. Iniesta, Rafinha, Rakitic, Roberto, they were all really good in that midfield, in fairness. But the ones that really made a difference, Messi, Suarez, Sturridge, Neymar, they were the real key points in that side to really kind of stem such a kind of successful kind of reign in this video. But in the end, we played 57 games, we won 38 of them, we drew 15 and we only lost 4, but we were invincible in the Liga. So I can't say that we did badly whatsoever, and a very kind of successful video as well as an enjoyable. It was tough. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to go on to FIFA 17 now, and I'm looking at potentially doing Ronaldo's season under Juventus. So stay tuned for that. It does take me a while to obviously have to do one season and edit it all and so on, but stay tuned for that particular video. That will be coming very, very soon. But until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have done so, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done, and also hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.